Good evening.
A little bit lower.
How's everyone doing? Which part lower?
Last time your head was outside, now it's too low.
It's too low? Let's do this. Wait. How's it now? We're in the middle?
I think it's good.
Yeah?
It's very good.
Easy, I mean? It catches both? Excellent. Just a reminder, the phones, if anybody doesn't know how to put it on vibrate, I've got a hammer. Just hand it over and I'll fix it for you. It's an excellent repair kit. Tonight we have the honor and the privilege of having with us Avi Idan. Not only am I lucky to have him as a friend, but he's also one of the leading business coaches in Israel today. So we get to hear the advices straight out from business coaches that help out companies like Anglo-Saxon and Nuva, okay? So the advices they get, and they have to pay quite a bit for, you guys get tonight. Okay. So there are at least some of them. I would like to start by a correction. I made a mistake last time, I'd like to correct it. The mistake was this. Remember when we talked about the Nisim, the spiritual leaders of the Jewish nation, how they had to be wealthy? And about Hillel, was he or was he not a spiritual leader? The correction is as follows. As a spiritual leader, one has to be wealthy. One does not need to be wealthy to become a spiritual leader. How do we solve that predicament? Once somebody is nominated as the spiritual leader, we then, as a nation, make him wealthy.
You said that.
Okay? Everybody becomes part of giving him something in order for him to be wealthy. Okay? And the dilemma is that even though we supposedly made him rich, since we are commanded into making him rich, he doesn't owe us any favors. It's not a politician these days, which when you make a donation into his campaign, he then owes you a favor. Over there, you are commanded into making him wealthy. He owes you no favors as a Nasi, as a president. So there? Second thing.
Okay, so wealth one, go be a spiritual leader.
Yeah, so there you go. Rule number one to become wealthy, become a spiritual leader. The second correction I would like to make is that Hillel was a Nasi. He became Nasi later on in life. Yes, he was poor his whole life. Yes, he became rich when he became a Nasi. So that's as far as correction goes from last week. Now, everybody remembers our homework assignment? With the money in the pocket and the jar and the, yeah? Now, who would like to share with us a little bit of their experience with that assignment and how it went? And you volunteer, or we'll have to volunteer you. David?
I'd just say that putting the money in the jar, I
Uh-huh.
was surprised at how many coins actually went into that jar over the week, and how much I was actually pulling out and spending of that money, which was just sort of would end up most on my bag, or in my pocket, or on the floor, on the bed. So I was actually surprised myself how much money came out of that jar and how much use it went to.
Excellent,
I didn't
excellent.
have to spend money in my pocket.
That you what?
I didn't have to spend notes in my pocket, so I was using the coins, which is what I can use.
Excellent,
So that was good.
excellent.
Would you tell us very quickly what the assignment was? We weren't here last week.
Yeah, the assignment had 3 sections, if I remember correctly. It's in the video, by the way, it's on YouTube.
Okay.
So everybody who's here for the first time, which I do see new faces, and welcome. All the new faces, please, you can both check us out. There's a page on Facebook, right? That's how it goes, page on Facebook. There's a page on Facebook that monitors whatever we do here, and it advertises what's coming. And there's a link there to the YouTube video. And in addition to that, the YouTube video is on my channel. So if you type in my email address, you will then get into my channel and you'll see the video there. And this one will also get in there. Now, the assignments were as follows. 1, keep a nice large bill, cash bill, in your pocket. Okay? Have cash in your pocket at all times. Okay? At least 100, 200 is better, $100 is even better than that. Walk around with cash in your pocket at all times. That's assignment number 1. Assignment number 2 was to put money in front of you, wherever you are. If you're in your workplace, if you've got, if you work at a desk, so put a nice large bill in front of you, so it'll be also visual. Okay, so we've got feeling, and we've got the visual. And the third was to take a jar, a transparent jar, a clear jar, put it in a place where you come in contact with a lot, like the kitchen or living room, and every day put something into it. Now, you don't designate it for a specific purpose. You're not saving up to buy your favorite album. I don't know if anybody buys albums these days anymore. Okay? You don't designate it for charity. You just put it there for no other reason than to just put it there and have it accumulate. Sedar? So, anybody has opening questions before we
There was
dive in?
another one, wasn't there? To write a list of what you do with that money that we wished for, yeah?
Nachon. We did we ran something here where we got everybody to wish for an amount. We said, imagine that you have a long lost uncle living in Europe you never met, and you get a letter that he passed away.
I know what to do with it. I'll know what to do with it.
You'll know what to do with it. He'll take care of it. He'll help you out with it. How much do you hope you're gonna get? Now, how much would you hope you're gonna get?
Money-wise?
Of course, money-wise.
Sure.
Give it a number.
Say $1 million.
$1 million. Okay?
Why not?
Why not? Right? $1 million. That's it.
Well,
There's a million?
Let's start basic.
Yeah, you're humble. Okay. Now, your assignment was to break down that $1 million to the last penny. Okay? So it doesn't matter to me what you ask for and how much it is. Now break it down. And not, I will set it off for a rain. How much would you set off for a rainy day? Okay? It doesn't rain that much in Israel. How much do you need? Okay? Okay? I want it broken down. If we want to summarize our last meeting, the idea was that in Judaism, no single element, with the exception of idol worship and adultery, is good or bad. It's all depending on how you use it, what do you use it for. A knife is not good or bad. Depends on what you use it. You can kill with it, you can cook with it. Okay? Money, it's not good, it's not bad. Money is not the root of all evil, it's not the greatest thing in the world. It all depends on what you do with it. Okay? So, to put it into use, you guys were set off to write down what would you do with that money. Now, whom from last week would like to share with us what they're gonna do with their money? And if you didn't write it down, we won't thing. We'll just. Anybody would like to share? Tzachi, excellent. I'm glad you volunteered. Go ahead. Let's hear. How much did you ask for?
Like last week,
Okay. How much did I say I will give you?
$1 billion.
I told you I'm going to give you $1 million, right?
1 billion.
No. How much you want? $1 billion, we said? Fine, you want $1 billion. Go for it. Let's hear. What are you going to do with $1 billion?
I will build the kollel.
You'll build the kollel, okay? Excellent, a kollel. Okay, you'll build a kollel, okay? How much does it cost to build a kollel? You're asking me? You're the one building it. Where are you building your kollel? Rehov Gordon. Excellent. So you're going to build a kollel right in Rehov Gordon, right? How much does it cost to build one?
$20 million.
How much?
$20 million.
$20 million. Okay, $20 million gone for the kollel. You've got $1 billion. Go. Yes.
Build a house.
Build a house.
Another like
Very nice. Where?
Gordon Street.
Gordon Street.
He likes just buying Gordon Street.
I'm with you. Okay. A house on Gordon Street. Now what?
Buy a nice car.
On Gordon Street.
I think he's gonna buy Gordon Street.
First I have to get a parking spot here.
So buy a parking spot and then buy a car. Very smart. Okay. So we see roughly how it works. The idea is we don't think of the terms of the means. We think in terms of what we would like to do with it. In Hebrew, we mentioned means is called emtsai. Emtsai in simple Hebrew translation means in the middle of. So your means are in the middle of. So by definition, if we understand Hebrew, no means can be a target. The means is in the middle of, it's between you and, okay? So when you wish for money, you're wishing for means, those means have to be for a purpose. Otherwise, what's the purpose of the means? We get the idea? You won't give an 80-year-old couple an anniversary gift, an unlimited supply of maternal, right? I mean, what's the purpose? Baby food,
Okay.
right? I mean, it's gotta be. You gotta give them something they can then put to work towards something they need or want. Say there. So tonight we're going to focus a little more on the practical advices, practical elements that both the Gemara teaches us and the business world teaches us. Before we dive into it, we need to understand the concept of work. We believe that, falsely believe, that work brings you money. Okay? Now it's false both from a business point of view. If anybody read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you know that if work gives you money, it gives you it for a very short amount of time.
Well, hard work does bring money. I mean, there is a lot of people working hard, and in the end of the day, they're earning a lot of money.
Nachon, but it's only for a short amount of time. Hard work gives you money for a short amount of time. You then need to know what to do with it for it to make you more money.
It depends what do you mean by hard work, because I know people who works in the building train rails or something that they work hard.
No, people who are ambitious, people who want to succeed and climb up, being a simple worker, becoming a manager of a company,
Okay.
ambition.
What you find out when you ask rich people how hard they work, they're gonna say that they don't work at all.
But at some point they did.
Of course they did at first, but it's not the goal is not to work hard. You have to start working hard to get somewhere, but it's not the target that you're going to work hard and get money, because when you get a lot of money, you get it when you stop working and start doing fun things for people, rich people, and know what is it.
Okay? So we need to define what it is that we work and how do we work and what do we get out of work and what do we do, how do we get the money. But we'd like to first explain a concept. It may, and it is different for the nation of the Jewish people. The nation of the Jewish people get their wealth from God by means of their spiritual strength, abilities, and potential. Okay? The way it works is as follows. Once a year, we have a day called Rosh Hashanah, very badly translated into New Year's. Okay, the Jewish New Year's. During that, it's a 48-hour holiday, during which every single one of us is judged for the whole year. Okay? Our record comes out, they pull our records out, and it's presented in front of God, and then everything that will happen to us during the next year, good or bad, is decreed upon us that day. Leave, die, children, marriage, money, it's all there. When it will happen, how it will happen, by whom, בסדר? But it's set in potential. We then need to take actions to bring that potential into our physical reality. Okay? The example I give for that is that, let's say I had the merit of being decreed upon $1 million this year. I then need to take actions in order to make that $1 million a physical reality in this world. Now,
Otherwise, what?
otherwise it stays as potential up there.
No, otherwise, if I have heard when they told me about Rosh Hashanah, because I wasn't religious all the time, so I was a businessman who became religious. And when they told me at the beginning of the year, in the Rosh Hashanah, you got to be judged on how much money you're going to make, and it doesn't matter how your efforts will be, you're going to get the sum of money that you've been judged for. So I said, okay, so I don't need to do any efforts. See, I don't need to work hard for that. I can stay at home and get my money. Okay, if it's $1 million, okay, send it. But suddenly, I understand very fast that it won't help. Because maybe I've been judged for $1 million, but if I won't do anything, I won't get it. Very simple, right? So something need to be fixed. This is what I asked my rabbi when I started doing my way back to the Shmor Mitzvot, that's what I say. And his explanation is good for that.
So the example for that is, let's say we collect unemployment, right? So they check us out and they say, okay, a person who's married and who's got one kid, who has worked in such and such job for such and such amount of time, is worthy of receiving, let's say, $1,000 a month. Now, there are conditions there to be able to receive that $1,000 a month. First of all, you need to fill an application and turn it in. And it's got to be accurate. Second thing, you have to show up every single week and sign up that you're still unemployed in order to receive at the end of that month that check for $1,000. So far, simple example, everybody's with me? Now let me ask you a question. If you put in 2 applications and show up twice a week, will you get $2,000? No. Right? This is what you have coming, and this is what you're going to get. But you need to do what you need to do in order to get it. If you will not go to sign or you will not turn in your application, will you get any of it? No. We see the example? We understand how the system works spiritually? You see the parallel between the two? Okay? So yeah, it's decreed upon you to be rich and wealthy and to have a lot of money. You got to do what you need to do in order to make it happen. It wasn't always like that. Who knows when wasn't it like that? When did we not have to work in order to make a living?
In the
Garden of Eden.
In the desert and?
Garden of Eden. Garden Eden.
Garden of Eden, that's right. The 2 times. And in the desert we went back to being just like the first Adam in Garden of Eden. That's why over there it repeated itself. We didn't have to work. God's original plan was that you sit back, do what you need to do as a Jew, and food will come to you just like it came in the desert right to your doorstep, and the best kind. However, we kind of screwed things up twice. Okay, once in the Garden of Eden, once in the desert, and we went back to what we call today normal, which is not God's definition of what normal is for us, but this is what we do is, and the exact sentence is, Bezeat apecha tochal lechem. You want food, you gotta sweat for it. Sedar? Now, let's understand, Bezeat apecha tochal lechem is a curse. It's not a blessing. You're not supposed to like working for money. You're supposed to minimize your efforts for money as much as possible, right? So we minimize the effort, maximize the input. Okay? We're here to learn how. The practical advices that both the Gemara teaches and our business investigators teach as to how to do it the right way. It doesn't mean that the work you do will make you rich. It doesn't mean that if you do everything to the letter, you will be rich. It means that if you do your, what we call in Hebrew, hishtadlut, your effort, in a proper way and in the right amount, you will then have access to the maximum of the potential available to you.
But there is also other factors like luck or people around you. It's, you know, your wealth doesn't necessarily depend only on that, what you're saying.
All of the things are the means that God uses to provide you that, the ability to fulfill that potential, not the other way around. People think, you know, why I'm earning $20,000 a month now versus $10,000 last year is because I got a new job. No, no. It's the other way around. Is that last year you were decreed $10,000 a month and God sent you, ooh, thank you very much. Yeah, Abdul Khamid. No problem. I mean, last year you were decreed $10,000 a month, so we sent you a boss that's cheap and will only pay you $10,000 a month. This year you were decreed $20,000. So we got your boss to fire you, had you go around looking for a job, and sent you a job that pays $20,000. Not the other way around. Do we understand? We need to change our whole perspective about earning money. Okay? It does not relieve us from doing what we have to do to earn it. But we have to understand that when things happen, it's only the physical representation of what's been set for us spiritually upstairs. Not that because, with the exception of what we do. Okay? A person can lose his wealth in a second. Okay? One of the things we're taught, and this is for the married people in the crowd, that when God wants to send an exceptional amount of money into a person's hand, a Satan, the devil, comes first and tests that person. The way he tests him is usually by means of the opposite sex. Either he brings him a test of lust, or he gets his wife to really upset him. Now, if he loses his cool, in either case, he can lose everything that was sent to him. He'll never see it. He'll never know. He'll never have a sign that it was meant for him to come. And people have heard that and have told me that they started noticing it, they started paying attention, they started focusing that whenever they either have a major test, either with the opposite sex or with their wives, and they overcome it, almost every single time, one for one, they got to see beautiful things afterwards. Okay?
It's only for married people, you said?
No, the non-married people is the test for lust.
Sorry, Rabbi, but during the it's the same sex, it's not like...
Yeah, you saw the signs.
Yeah, unfortunately we saw the signs, Hashem Yirachem, okay? Okay, you guys get what I mean. So this is one example of how our actions could determine what we do or do not get. And okay, if somebody decides to do, he says, look God, whatever you decreed upon me and you decide to send to me, I'm game. Send me money in order to do good for others. This is not for me. It's got, okay, not for me. I would like to build a kollel. I would like to build a center to help children. I would like to help this poor family. It's not for me. God says, you know what? Fine. This is not for you. This is not out of your budget. Okay? Here is some money. Take it. Go do what you need to do. The rabbi in our community is the living example of what a miracle looks like. He got up one morning and he said, that's it. We need to build a community that's going to be like this and like that, and improve the community. And he said, okay, we're going to build a place, we're going to set ground, we're going to bring speakers and rabbis. There's going to be lectures here for the men, for the women, for the children. It became a whole community center, right? My children go there to study Torah. My wife went last night for the women's lessons. I go during Shabbat. Amazing place, amazing place. That place is running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The light's almost always on.
Which city is it?
I'm sorry?
Which city?
Bnei Brak. Okay? But it doesn't matter. God knows your address, even if you live in huh? Come join. Exactly. You can come join. And when he went out to find a place, there was an empty lot in Bnei Brak. And he found an empty lot, and he found the owner of the lot. And he said, look, how much do you want to sell the lot? He says, look, it's an average lot. You know, we look at it, we can build about a building on it or so. $10 million. I said, okay, I'm a little short of that right now. Being a young rabbi in a new community that doesn't exist, how much is rent? Said, rent is 10,000 shekels a month. Now, try to digest. Rent on an empty lot. You haven't even put a chair in there yet. There isn't a structure. It's an empty lot. 10,000 shekels a month.
Nice one.
And
This is how you get richer.
exactly. And people around told him, you are crazy. How can you sign up for 10,000? It's a new community. Nobody even knows about you yet. He says, I'm not doing it for me. Whom am I doing it for? For God. This is not for me. What do I get out of it? I get to work hard and to lose sleep and to have to run around and you know, it's the biggest headache. It's much easier for me to go back to college, sit down, study, and you know, I've got my money, I've got my apartment, I've got my wife, my kids. I'm good. I'm doing it for Him. Does God have $10,000 or shekels or whatever a month? He does. I'm signing, and He signed. Now, if you go there today, you'll see a miracle. There's a whole structure, a huge hall, decorated beautifully. Everything was done by people who just came out and said, I want to be part of this. I want to help. This guy says, look, I know somebody who does floor paneling, the panels. I'll pay for it. Don't worry about it. Panels are on me. The next guy came and said, I'm an electrician. I'll do electricity. You don't need to worry about that. Next family came and said, look, we don't have any children. Here's 30,000 shekels. Bless us for us to have children. Put it to work however you wish. Today, this place is amazing. It's running. It's still a miracle standing there, right? And it's in one of the poorest neighborhoods in Israel. So it's not like people in the community are rich and are just, you know, here, I've got a $100,000 donation for this year. It's nothing like that. When people are going up to the Torah, you know how they sell the aliyot, right? So come major holidays, they're selling for big amounts of money. Anybody knows how much Kol Nidre in New York sells for? Tell them.
It's a nice one. No, it's in Beverly Hills, actually.
In Beverly Hills, okay, even better. Anybody knows how much just going up to Kol Nidre in Yom Kippur sells out? You don't really sell it, they donate.
How much is that?
For in Beverly Hills?
10,000 chais.
10,000?
$180,000.
Okay, just donation for one thing. Now, this is Bnei Brak.
Gosh,
That's very nice,
good
huh?
business.
This is Bnei Brak. Are you kidding me? If somebody is really, really generous, they'll give 1,000 shekels. Okay, once a year. So how do you keep it up? Because God runs the world. We do the effort. He sends us what we need and what's been decreed upon us. We're here to learn the proper ways to do effort. Okay? Now, the example for that being is that in order for a tree to grow in our backyard, God needs to grow that tree in our backyard. But you need to make an effort. You need to bring a little plant, and it needs to be a healthy and of the proper kind of plant. You need to plant it in the right time of year, and to treat it properly, and then God will grow you a tree. But if you planted pears, don't expect apples to grow. You need to do the right effort. if this plant needs to be planted during the summer and you planted it during the winter, you cannot say, I did my part, God just didn't want there to be a tree here.
But if you put
Okay?
a sign on the tree, pear, comes to season.
Yeah, please grow pears. Okay? So, some of our practical advices. We'll start with the business end of it, and then we'll go over to the Gemara.
Okay.
Shoot.
So, it's not kind of business, it's a mentality of being rich, of being wealthy, okay? But I want to ask you one thing. People always tell me when they see me speak about money in those places, you are religion people, you are a religion man, so you have to be spiritual. Why you talk about money? Because money is not the most important thing in the world, right? It's not. And I have to agree with that, but I find out that money rates up right up with oxygen for a lot of people. Because when you don't have it, it's everything you think about all day. So maybe it's not the most important thing, but it's the most thing that you think about. So what's happening with that? And there is a new book that went out right now in the States and is a bestseller. And it names How Come This Idiot is Rich and I'm Not? Very good title, right? And so a lot of people think, how come these people are rich? I'm doing good, I'm a nice person, I am qualified, I know how to work, and I know how to do things, why I'm not rich? And this guy is such an idiot, he is. And it's not actually what he does, it's actually how he thinks. Because the way he thinks becomes to be his actions, that becomes to be his destiny, okay? To be rich or whatever. And I want to start talking to you about how to think as a rich person. Usually, when we see a rich person, most of the people, they say, probably drug dealer. How come he became rich? Okay, we don't like rich people because we say that they keep their money to themselves and they don't spend it and whatever.
Stingy rich people.
Yeah, stinky rich. You're talking about what is stinky rich? Okay. And actually what we learned about money came from our parents. And what you'll see that the parents make beautiful, beautiful poor kids all the time. Because they told them, go to get a very good job, right? Job, you know what is job for rich people? It's the meaning of just over broke. It's not really the case of making money, There's a lot of rich people that give jobs to a lot of people that been taught to get a job, go to university first, learn hard, and then maybe get pension that don't actually help you to live as you want to live. And there are people that say there is a sentence in the Mishnah that says that if you got a lot of assets of nechasim, assets, right? You have a lot of worries, right? Marbe nechasim, marbe daga. You heard about something? Okay, and it said you're rich, you're a religion people, you're a religion man, so you have to agree with that, right? It's in your Torah. I said yes, but who said it? So the Mishnah is actually מצטטת quotes Mr. Shlomo HaMelech, okay? He was the richest person in the world when he said that, okay? So when a guy like that says something like that to me, I'm going to listen. But most of the people tell me that money is not the most important thing. If you have a lot of assets, you are going to worry a lot of times. And most of the people who tells me that are not rich. So I'm... Okay?
Now, I would also prefer to worry about my assets than to worry about my lack of assets.
Right.
Right?
No, I say...
What would you rather worry about? The debt in the bank or to the credit card company, or about the assets you got? Right?
Yeah, right. By the way, if somebody here have an asset and is worrying about it, I want to worry for him. Just bring it to me. Pass it here. Okay, I worry for him. So you have to make a good use of assets. And Robert Kiyosaki in his book Poor Dad, Rich Dad actually talks about it. And what he talks about is how you can tell if somebody is rich or poor, not by his amount of money he has in the bank, because take two people that have the same situation, no money, nothing in the pockets, and you understand very fast who is rich or is poor. How do you do that? Put them in front of a window of a shop. What do you call it?
Shop window.
Shop window, right. And they're, let's say, watch strap, okay? And they see a nice watch, really, really nice one. And you hear them, and then you found out who is rich and who is poor, because they have the same situation, no money at all, they can't buy their very, very, very nice watch, okay? One of the guys will say, I wish I would have such a kind of watch. The other guy says, what do I need to do to get one? How this watch how this watch will be mine? This is the difference of thinking, because when poor people wish for money, because everybody wish for money, being rich, being wealthy, this wishful thinking is nothing. Rich people doing something about it, thinking right about money, don't afraid from money, and then they get it, even though they start like everybody else. One of the stories of a really, really rich man named Andrew Carnegie. He was the wealthiest man in the world back, let's say, 110 years ago. And he was dealing steel, the metal, okay? Because then there was the מהפכה תעשייתית, industrial revolution. You've heard about it? So he was one of the leaders of this revolution, and he was dealing steel all over the world. He was the richest man in the world. One day, a nice reporter, a very young one named Napoleon Hill, came to interview the guy. And he gave him not a 20 minutes interview like you guess, that the rich people, very busy, occupied man, will give a young reporter. He gave him a 3-day interview when he took him everywhere with him, his house, his offices, traveled with him. And within these 3 days, he gave him his philosophy of why am I rich and other people are not. And this is actually what a philosophy man is. He asks questions and he tries to answer them. And he asked, why am I got to be rich and not other people? And what he meant is that when he started, he was just exactly like thousands of other workers in the metal industry. Have nothing, no rich dad, no nothing. And he got to be rich within the years, and a lot of his friends didn't. So how come he is and the others didn't? And how come Mr. Ford became rich? Because he was his friend. Ford didn't start wealthy. And how come Thomas Alva Edison became rich? He was another friend of him, good friend, right? To be with. And he actually gave Napoleon Hill his philosophy. In the end of this session of interview, he asked him, was it enough for you? He said, more than enough. He said, okay, I want to ask you a question. He said, okay, shoot. He said, okay, I'll ask you, if you're going to take upon yourself a project, but don't take it seriously because it's a life project. It's going to take you at least 20 years to finish it. You're going to take it upon yourself, and what is the project is you go to all the rich people and very successful people in the world. I can open doors for you there, and you ask them what are their philosophy, what they did to become rich, and you get it up to one formula of how people can start from nothing and be something. Okay? Do you take it? I said, of course I do. I said, no, I didn't finish asking. I said, do you take it if you know that I'm not gonna put in a dollar in it? I'm not gonna pay for you for this project. You're gonna do it with your own budget. So put yourself in the shoes of this young reporter right now. He sits in front of the richest man in the whole world, that gives him actually a job offer, right? He tells him it's a life project and it's going to take him 20 years, and then become very, very, very stingy. Okay.
Yeah, you will not get a penny out of me.
This is how he became rich, right? now we got it. Okay. So put yourself in his shoes right now and think what would you say and how long it's going to take you. Because for him it took 29 seconds to say, yes, Mr. Kange, I'm going to take this opportunity upon me and I'm going to take it to the end of the successful end of it. And Mr. Kange raised up, gave him a hand and told him, I love not just what you say and I more liked how you say it. Because if you will say, no, I'll try to do it, would you get the job? Probably not. Because trying is not the issue. Okay? How do you say "ishtadel" באנגלית? I will
try.
Try again.
I'll put in an effort.
Okay. I'll put in an effort. I hope it's going to be. I'll succeed. You won't get it. He said, "I'm going to take it to the end."
He's determined.
Yeah. This is why he got it. But how do I know that it took him exactly 29 seconds? What Mr. Kange made is a small test when he asked this question, because Mr. Napoleon Hill wasn't the first one to be asked the same question. He was the 236th, something like that, person to be asked. Nobody got this job. He did, because he did it in 29 seconds. The test was, who's going to get it will have to convince me with how he says it, but it's going to have to be in less than a minute. Okay? Because to be a guy that recognizes such a thing, it has to be somebody who thinks like us. Okay? You have to be one to understand one, okay? To know one. So he did it. He took the project. It took him 25 years to finish it. When he finished it, he wrote a book named Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich. Until this day, and I mean 75 years after this book first being published, until today, it's being sold like millions of copies all over the world. Until today, he died in 1971. I was born in 1971. I'm 41 years old. I'm still hearing his lectures and I'm still reading his books. So probably did something very good. And what he said, there is a very simple way of thinking of being rich, because what he tells us think and grow rich. He doesn't say work hard and be rich. It doesn't written there. And if you read the book, you don't find there any suggestion of how hard you have to work or in what field you have to work. In order to be successful, you have to think right. This is what he says. And in all the book, you have you can find out how rich people think. And let's talk about some of the things. First of all, who knows what is it to be rich? How would you know that you are rich? Okay, everybody here probably want to be rich, right? Want to be rich? Yeah, don't mind, right? Okay. It starts with not being don't mind. I really, really wanting to be rich, okay? Without the thinking of, if being rich is to be stinky or something like that, I don't want to be rich. Or being rich is to be nasty or drug dealer. No. Being a noble rich person, okay? If you want to be rich, you have to know what is the destination, where to go, right? So what is rich? Economically, what is rich?
Economically, I guess that you can live your life without working, without putting effort into it.
Okay.
So you can just live your life and go to the beach every day. And
how do you do that? What is
you have the
formula? Huh?
You have saved so much money that you don't need to work anymore.
Saved so much money, okay.
Actually, the money works for you.
Okay, great. Because this is the answer, because most of the people can't answer this question. You ask them what is to be rich. How do you know that you got to be rich? They can't answer. I got answers like, when I got to buy whatever I want without looking at the tick in the price tag. Well, Oh, well,
Yeah, I can do that right now. There's a 99-cent store. Which you can all join in and we can all buy it. And don't have to look at the price tag, right?
right. And
There's a shekel store also.
Shekel store, there you go.
Okay.
Or if you want to stay at the beach all day and you know, not have to worry about money, all you have to do is be one of the homeless bums on the beach. They live on the beach and they don't worry about money.
I got a lot of funny answers, like if I have $1 million, so $1 million not invested in anything, clean $1 million is to be a millionaire. This is the definition of being a millionaire, right? But it doesn't mean you have it make you rich, because I know a lot of people that had $1 million clean and lost it. Okay, people tell me when your income is greater than your outcome. So okay, so you earn more than what you take out. Oh, this is a good start. I had that for a long time, and one day I've got injured in a car accident and I couldn't walk anymore. My outcomes were the same. Income went flat. And I had a lot of money that days. How long do you think it took me to be very, very not rich afterwards? Very fast. No, it didn't happen because the income was actually made by my efforts, working hard. When I couldn't work hard anymore, very fast I've been broke. Okay, so the real economic definition of being rich is when your income, but passive income. Who's passive? You are passive, right? Your passive income, that means you're passive and you still got income. You have to think how. That income, the passive income, is more than what you put out for living, spend out for living, in the level you want to live. Okay, if it's a 50,000 shekels a month, this is worth your living costs. So you have to earn passive income like a 55. You get the idea? So now you have a target. Everybody can put on in what level I want to live, how much it costs. Now I know that I need to make a passive income. That means that I can stay in the beach doing nothing, and my lifestyle is being paid. This is being rich. Now when I have the target, I can start doing something toward this target. Because when I walk somewhere without a target, I will never know when I get there, and it doesn't matter what road I take. It's like, you know, Alice in Wonderland, when she got to meet with the cat, and she asked him, "Where am I?" I said, "Where do you want to go?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "It doesn't matter." Mm-hmm. Right? If you don't know where you want to go, it doesn't matter where you are. And the Wizard of Oz, I love movies. Sometimes they teach you a lot. Okay, Wizard of Oz. So the Wizard of Oz sits, and Dorothy came and asked him, and she sees behind of the wizard long roads, going somewhere, and she asked him what road should I take. She said, "Where do you want to go?" She said, "I don't know." He said, "It doesn't matter. All roads will take you there, right? Because if you don't know where you want to go, all roads are going to take you there. But is it the right road? You know, we have a short period of time to be here, okay? And to do something of us being old and not being able to walk. If we want to do something good right now when we are in a good age, a good shape, we'll find ourselves very, very, very sad in the end, right? So first of all, we have to know what is being rich. And one thing about being rich is knowing